We are in Greenhouse 2030. In this greenhouse we make research on the emissions of CO2, that's energy related, emissions of water and nutrients, and the emission of crop protection metals. And the main goal of this Greenhouse 2030 is to be emission free and also carbon neutral. And carbon neutral means only for us, only the use of renewable energy. We work together with a lot of different disciplines. Together you have to find a solution. How far can we go? And that's for me the most rewarding.
In 2050, the world population will have grown from approximately 7.7 billion people now till almost 10 million people then. We need to find plants and crops that are not only efficient and productive and of high quality in terms of nutritional value, but also in terms of production, yield. But they also need to be more resistant against drought, for instance, and against pests and diseases, because we want to use as less fertilizer, water, pesticides as possible, of course.
The main thing we can learn as humans is that we are not needed that much to have abundance. To stop fighting nature, but to cooperate with nature. Back in 2009, I designed a farm based upon trees. It's a kind of agroforestry, it's named. And we planted it and we let it grow. I also am the chairperson of Foundation Food Forestry in Netherlands, so we promote this type of farming to other farmers. A food forest system is amazingly making production, but you having to do very little. So I even sometimes nicknamed myself being a lazy farmer, and then someone re-nicknamed me being the laziest farmer of the Netherlands. But that's part of the system. Trees are just magical. They don't need us. They soak up carbon dioxide from the air, which is very wise to do this century. It's a community of living organisms, and they play a role in feeding the plants in an exchange process. By having more trees, more types of agroforestry in your landscape, you have some resilience. We are not needed, but the system is taking care of its own, and it's not depending upon external input.
The control of the climate is completely automated by a climate controller. We measure on different locations in each compartment the temperature, humidity and CO2, just to be sure year-round you can give the behavior as it likes, as it prefers.
Greenhouse producing in the Netherlands is not environmentally friendly, that's a fact, and will not be environmental friendly. They are depending upon natural gas, which is a fossil fuel. which is ending and polluting. Nature is the enemy.
Greenhouses are really efficient and very sustainable in terms of the use of water, nutrients, but also pesticides. But in terms of energy, of course, there is a big issue.
For the future, it's the idea that we will reduce the emissions towards zero. And that is, of course, very challenging numbers. Energy is not unlimited available.
There are no environmental problems. There are economical problems. There are human problems. Many modern industrial agricultural types of farming are just making a profit in the short run. And they don't take in account the pollution of water, the disappearing of biodiversity, and the causing of a climate crisis.
It's very difficult to make such a change in use of energy. Almost everyone has now in view that towards the future we should go to more circular way of production. But that takes time.
To solve certain problems, you need new technology, but it's also as important to look at, how does nature work and how can we cooperate with nature instead of working against nature.
A food forest system is producing enough nutritional food to feed people well, more than modern industrial agriculture without using fossil fuels.
Greenhouse horticulture in general, they can really help to produce the food we as people on Earth need.
If you look at the difference between greenhouses and forest farms, one doesn't have to exclude the other. It's great if both worlds can learn from each other and can make each other stronger. If you talk about feeding the world, there is not one single bullet, of course. Greenhousing is a part of a bigger story.
I expect that the greenhouse industry will survive and that the greenhouse industry towards the future becomes more important.
Even if the heat waves are coming and if heavy showers are coming, and they will during this century, nature is coming back if we give it the opportunity to return. Be part of the solution, and there is a way forward.